So good morning, gang. My name is Matt Stull. I am, can you hear me? I can't tell if it's projecting. I'm loud. Usually I don't need this. But my name is Matt Stull. I am one of the assistant program directors at the University Hospitals program in Cleveland Medical Center, which is associated with Case Western. And I am so excited to be here with you all today to talk about my absolute favorite topic, which is mentorship. It is so vital in anything you do for the rest of your life that you have a good mentor. And we're going to talk about why here in the next couple minutes. But before we do, you can see sort of on the slide what I believe to be pop culture's like best mentors ever, right? Like Yoda, Dumbledore. Like, I mean, if you have been living under a rock and know none of these people, we'll talk later, but you'll do really good on step one. How many, so before I get started, how many of you are MS1s? Any gunners?
None.
No? Oh, just one. Good for you. You're here. Strong work. Any MS2s? Good. Okay. Starting early. Good. 3s? Okay. Are you like rising 3s or like ending 3s? How many are about to be 4th years? Yeah, all of you. Okay, cool. And then like any like Mudfuds, MD, X team, different like degrees? Good. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so I have a good sense of who's here today. So I have nothing to disclose, but if I can get paid to mentor, let me know. I will find a way. One thing you'll see on my slides throughout the presentation, occasionally you'll see this QR code. And anytime, just snap a picture with your phone. It'll take you to a Dropbox link that has both the PDF of the presentation, so if you sleep through it, that's totally cool. I get it. It's an early morning for you. Or more importantly, there are like 3 great reads in mentoring that I've sort of distilled down for you. Some of them are in EM, some of them aren't, but they're all like no more than 3 pages. I get it. We're EM, squirrel. Like it's just 3 pages. That's all you got to get through, right? So feel free to snap this as we go. I have got it on a couple slides. So before we get started, we really have to define what we're actually talking about. And what we're talking about is mentorship. And to me, mentorship is at the pyramid, like the very height of some meaningful relationship you have with someone a little bit farther along in their career than you. There's advising, which you've all had, right? That's a person that gets you from point A to point B. That's all an advisor does, push you out the door, right? A mentor is someone that has sort of a higher purpose in your life. They are people that truly are investing in you as a person and a professional, right? They are there as a growth-oriented person who will help you grow inside and outside of what it is that you're doing in the future. Does that make sense to everyone? So this I think of as like a higher calling. It's your Yoda, right? This is not just somebody that you like meet with once every 6 months to say, yep, I've passed, I'm still there, right? That's a dean. Like that's one of those sort of like, I just stamp your approval to get you out of here. You want to look for people who really are going to invest in you and put you before, or at least at the same point of their own interest, right? We often use this word wrong. We say a research mentor. Many of you have had research mentors. No, they're more research project support system or PIs. Those are different, right? Because they're looking to get this manuscript done. When they start investing in you beyond the knowledge, but really social capital, right? Guys, I was looking at my CV the other day and I realized I've been coming to SAEM for a decade. I'm not that old. Like I really, or at least I didn't think I was until I looked. And the first time I came with a mentor. The mentor, by chance, was Henry Wang, who just won the like research award this year, which was awesome. And this man came to SAEM with me and like held my hand and was like, come on, little third-year med student, like meet these people, right? If you want to have a career, you got to meet and greet people. And so social capital is something you really need to be looking for because, as Kathy mentioned earlier, right? We are a small community. We know, we know everybody. And so it's not hard, but make sure that they're going to invest in you more than just the knowledge. Make sense? I need some nods. There's a like emphatic nod back there. Awesome. You're going to be my like, are they getting it? Cool. So why should you get a mentor? A lot of the literature here comes out of business, engineering, culinary arts. Like everybody has researched this, and every single discipline, even medicine, has shown that people that have mentors do better. They do better in life, just in general. They make more money. They are more satisfied with their careers. They stay places longer. And overall, they just are happier with their careers, right? So you guys need mentors. How many of you have one? How many of you right now can say, I have someone that truly invests in me as a human being? Oh, not enough. Not enough. Okay, by the end of this, I have to convince you that you have to go out there, and by the end of this meeting, and it can't be like Moira, Nick, or myself.
Help you, we will.
It can be. No, we are all happy. I think we're all here because we like to be mentors, but don't just bum rush the stage for these two. But keep in mind that this is a great opportunity to start looking for one, right? This is a great opportunity to start looking for one. So what does a good mentor look like? A good mentor is as you imagine, right? It's not hard. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because they jive with you personally and professionally. They're people that actually listen to you, right? How many of you have been in a faculty member's office and not gotten a word in edgewise, right? That research mentor who's like, do this, 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 and then SPSS and blah, 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 and T-tests and, okay, right? They're not listening, right? Make sure you have someone that actually is listening to you. Make sure that they are open to you, right? Not just that you are opening yourself up to them, but that they share with you. Narrative is powerful, right? Anytime you hear a story, you're engaged. This is why like NPR is so effective, 60 Minutes is so effective, because they just tell stories in the news, and people like to listen to those, right? And so when your mentor tells you a story, that's actually an opportunity for you to learn something from them, not just them like nostalgiaing it, right? I make up a lot of words myself, by the way. And then one of the other things I really think is important is opens doors for you, right? Look for that person who says, you know, I don't, wilderness medicine, camping, no, these hands are for healing, right? Like, so I may not be the person you want to connect with if you're like wilderness crazy, because I'm an intensivist and live in a very sterile environment in a lot of my time, but at the end of the day, I know someone who is a really awesome wilderness person who is a really good mentor. So maybe I may be the right person for you because I can at least open that door. Does that make sense? Questions so far?
I just want to announce, too, I noticed that I'm a Twitter person, so that's what I'm doing up here, and some people are kind of tweeting as well. So if you guys follow on the hashtag, we'll be sending out some pearls as well. So I just thought I'd mention that just so you know, I'm not up here checking my email, but we'll try to send some tweets out throughout the session. Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Cool. Keep tweeting. Okay. I'm an emergency physician at my core, right? So that was all nice, lovey-dovey sort of theory, which I love because there is a piece of me that is an intensivist, right? I forgot to mention that I've done more fellowships than any human being should do. I did one in medical education, and then I did one in critical care, as well as a 4-year residency. And I'd do it all again. But I've trained for like a decade. And so I recognize, though, from my EM roots, we have to be practical about things, right? You guys want to just like check the box. And so the next little while, let's talk about sort of what I call my 6 mentoring pearls. Like the things you must do to be successful. Number 1 is to know thyself. You have to have a sense of where you're going, or otherwise there's no point in a mentoring relationship, right? And just saying, I want to be an emergency doctor, that's not knowing thyself quite enough. You want to actually have insight about where you're going. Are you thinking about academia? Are you thinking about community? Or do you have a region in the country that you really are passionate about? Is fellowship in your future? Is it not? Those are all questions you need to start struggling with now, right? That's part of the things that you're going to discover over the course of this day at MSS, is that you should really get some insights of what it's like to be an academician, what it's like to be a 3 versus 4, those sort of things, okay? So if you don't know thyself, you can't leverage the mentoring relationship in any meaningful way. Next up is to actually use the M word. So when you sit down with someone who you believe could be a potential mentor, you need to actually refer to them as a mentor. Why? The reason is it's a powerful word, right? I think every one of us that are faculty in the room can think or conjure an image beyond like Yoda of a really good mentor in our life that probably changed the course of our careers. Is that true, Moira? Nick? Everybody? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Good mentor, right? So But what's powerful is asking for their mentorship, right? When the first time someone said to me, hey, would you be my mentor? I like melted. I was like, you want me to be your Dumbledore? Like, oh my God, like that's awesome. So you really want to use that word. It's a powerful, it connotes something powerful to them. It means that they are going to invest in you just as much as you're going to try to invest in them and the relationship you're building. Does that make sense? So use the M word. Use it not frequently, but when you find the right person, ask them at the end of that sort of relational introductory meeting if you think that's the right person for you. Now, if you walk into every faculty member's office in your department and start saying, can you be my mentor? Can you be my mentor? Can you? It'll get around. We all know each other, right? But like find someone and use that word. Make sure that they identify you as a mentee and them as your mentor.
And just sorry,
no, it's okay.
If I could just add, I know some of you are from institutions that don't have a residency training program, and so this may not be as easy as it sounds. And so I guess I would say I agree totally, but if you can't find a mentor, at the very least find an advisor, and that person may turn into a mentor for you, but you have to have someone to guide you through this process because it's complicated. But your mentor, if you don't have a residency training program at your institution, maybe someone from another place, I agree, but just, don't give up on this because I think it can be hard as a medical student, so I just wanted to add that really
absolutely.
briefly.
And Kathy pointed out, the SAEM mentoring website is a really good opportunity. You can be paired with someone, especially if you do not have a just use it wisely, right? Use it if you don't have a program at your school or at the main place where you spend your time. If you have a great program already existing, find the right person for you. I think it's a lot easier to mentor in person than mentor at a distance, but if you don't have the opportunity right in front of you, the SAEM mentorship pairing program is a really good opportunity for y'all.
So I could add, I was paired with a student through that program, and we met on Tuesday night, and she's from the University of Cincinnati, and my first question to her is, why do you need me?
Right.
You're at a top 5 program in the country. I know great people down there. And I came to find out that I'm a medical manager for FEMA, and she's really interested in disaster response. And so the way she found me through the thing was, my experience with Hurricane Harvey and some other things that I was able to help her with. But our conversation wasn't so much about advising because I knew she could get that piece at her institution. It was about this other thing. So, I would just add, if you have other interests, it's also a great program for that.
Perfect. Next up is you have to build a safe space, right? You need to know that mentorship is a sacred sort of place for you, right? The discussions you're going to have with that person are confidential. You need to feel comfortable sharing things with them. No, I have a spouse, a significant other, and they're going to factor into my decision significantly. Don't hide your weaknesses to those people because they're the people that should be helping you, right? So this should kind of factor in. Listen to what I'm saying. Who would not be a great mentor for you all? The PD that's going to evaluate you, right? Everyone wants to meet with the PD. That's not a good mentor. They might be a great advisor, and it might be good FaceTime with the PD or APDs, but they're kind of, no offense, but we are looking for just people to kind of cut off the chopping block, right? When I read 1,000 applications for 120 interviews for 10 spots, I'm looking for you to spell something wrong in your personal statement. I'm just hoping because it's just an easy. There's so many of you are amazing, and I'm not trying to make things competitive or stressful. But don't find a mentor that you can't share honestly with, right? If that's important to you, be thoughtful about it. The next one is to mentor up, and this comes out of the business literature. The idea is, it comes directly from the idea of managing up, the idea that if you are at any level of position other than quite literally at the top, the CEO, you should always be managing your manager. Your manager shouldn't have to manage you. What you should do is say, I'll get that to you by Friday, right? Not letting them set deadlines for you. I'll plan that meeting and get that done. I'll bring an agenda to that meeting, right? So you want to mentor up, meaning you want to manage your mentor. Because I know you think you're busy, I promise you, everyone in here is busier. It just gets busier, doesn't it? Like it's the first year out of residency, and I thought it was, or fellowships, and I thought it was going to get, nope, it has not slowed down. It just gets busier. And so keep in mind that they are way busier than you give them sometimes credit for. So you should plan to have an agenda when you show up, right? Goes back to know thyself. You need to plan to show up with a sense of what you want to get out of that meeting for a little while. You should reach out and figure out how do they communicate. Some of us are email phenoms, right? And in 8 minutes, you've got a response. Some of us never check email. And it's just the wrong way to do it. Figure out if they're the person that does like phone calls, does like texts to sort of keep check-in. So manage your mentor, because you are probably going to be getting a lot more out of the relationship than they are, per se. And so you want to mentor up. Next one is Polygaменtor. What this means is you need more than one. Nobody can be your everything, right? Each of you is individual with their own career path from your own sort of walk in life. If you would have told me that I found the perfect person who did a 4-year residency, then did a med ed fellowship, and then did critical care, and now is splitting their time 50-50 between an ICU and an ED and an APD for a 3-year program, who has done that before? None of them. So I have to find a critical care mentor. I need to find an EM mentor. I need to find a medical educator mentor, right? I have different people that fulfill my life in different ways. I have someone who is just really well, because with all those things going on in my life, I need someone to remind me once in a while, there's life outside of this place, right? And so making sure you have multiple mentors that can help you reflect on your decisions, I think is really important. So Polygaменtor. Does that make sense to everybody? Oh, yeah.
The way I phrase this when I talk about it is mentorship is contextual. So think about what it is you're actually looking from a specific mentor.
That's a great point. Great point. Last but not least, really good mentors assign homework. They tell you to do something, and you, as a good mentee, need to go and do it. Right? They're not giving you homework like a la that 7th grade substitute teacher that gave you that worksheet and was like, just go do it. Right? This is usually, when I assign homework to my mentees, is something I literally think will develop them. Maybe it's the next time I meet with you, I want to see a draft of your CV. I want to see a draft of your personal statement. Don't let me down. I'm busy. If I'm going to show up to the next meeting, I want to be able to actually give you some good feedback on that. So when you hear homework, do it, right? When they say to you, oh, I read this great book and it's blah, blah, blah. If they're your kind of people, if you've done everything else so far, you should probably go read that book, because it's something that your mentor is clearly interested in or engaged in. So when they give you homework, just make sure you do it. It seems simple enough, but I can't tell you the number of times. Say, next meeting, let's look at your CV. They come and they're like, oh, I forgot. That's not a great mentoring relationship then. So, in conclusion, mentors will make you better. They'll make you better personally, they'll make you better professionally, they'll connect you in ways. They are the height of that sort of advising pyramid, if you will, teacher pyramid in my mind. But at the end of the day, don't forget sort of our take-home points, because we're emergency medicine. We need to be practical about the things that we're doing. So you need to know thyself so that you can leverage the relationship in a meaningful way. When you find the right person, you need to use the M word effectively, call them your mentor. Make sure that whatever you discuss within the realm of sort of acceptable information is confidential. Mentor up and manage your mentor. Don't make them manage you. Polygaменtor and find people in different domains, because different perspectives are really important for you at this stage in your career. And last but not least, make sure you do your homework, right? Show up having done the things that they ask you to do, and you'll be better off for it. What questions can I answer for you all? Yes, sir.
Where did you do your CC fellowship?
So I did critical care at the University of Michigan. Yes?
I want to devil's advocate this just a little bit, because I'm sure about half the people in here are eating this up and they're ready to go, and half of them are getting a little nervous and scared. This is more than I'm going to get into. The word mentor has always scared me when I was a mentee and now as a mentor. But I've got a lot of really good friends in emergency medicine, people that I just trust and that I get along with and that I can have phone conversations with and just bounce ideas off of each other. And I was about halfway through my career going, I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting all the way through this without a mentor. I'm not going to have to do this. And I realized that those guys were all my mentors, and I was mentors to them. And when I started
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So what resources are there if you're interested? Maybe someone at a different institution is really big in health policy or health services research and you're interested in that. How do you broach that? So it's not just email. Hi, I'm Josh.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the question was sort of how do you broach the people that are truly sort of experts maybe in the area that you care most about? I think it depends, right? I think it depends on how committed you are, right? So if you've done the research and actually care and know that you're forever going to be a health services researcher, then I would say to you, yes, go to the health services research interest group here at SAEM and sit in the room and see who's there, right? Like get a sense of. The other thing is, this is why mentoring is important, right? Like I'm a gateway mentor. I luckily like have a lot of connections because I've been able to come to meetings like this, and I know who the right person maybe for you is, and I can help connect you that way. So use local mentors. And the other thing I think a lot of times people come to this meeting and see big names who've done a lot of research and are amazing. They don't always make the best mentors, quite honestly. Keep that in mind too. We've all had that research mentor who has worked you hard, and maybe you got a lot of publications, but really didn't grow you in any way, shape, or form other than you sit and put a lot in SPSS and got a lot out, right? So just be thoughtful about that. I find that a lot of people quest after the chair or this person, you know, the big names in emergency medicine. And and luckily we're in a field where a lot of the big names are also normal human beings who are approachable. But just be careful, because those are also the busiest people who have the most mentees. And so, you know, there are plenty of us sort of gateway mentors out there to help you grow. So that's why I think it's really important, because that person may be great to help get you on the pathway that you want to be on, but they're probably not there to say like, how's life? You doing good, right? Like, let me read your personal statement. Guess what? You don't want to sit down with fill in the blank chair and be like, hey, just read it, because if they did, they'd never have time to support the rest of the program development, things like that. So use the sort of lower level resources, not that we're lower level, but clerkship directors, APDs, things like that to help you get connected to the right people.
Yeah, if I could just echo that too. The SAEM interest groups and committees, for those of you, this is probably your first meeting, but if you start coming, I was really, I think when I first started coming to this meeting, and my first one was in like 2007 or 2005 or something, I was really intimidated to go into a room, you know, the disaster medicine interest group, and you get in there and there's really like 15 people, and you're kind of intimidated, but all those people are so passionate about that topic. And the only other thing that I would say is we've all had mentors and we've had advisors through this process, and there's this intrinsic thing that makes you want to pay that back. So all of us, not all of us, you're right, there's some people that aren't, but most of us really want to help you and want to mentor. It's just a matter of, you know, how many people can I help, how much time do I have? And so meetings like this, or even smaller regional meetings, are great places to meet people. So if there's a regional SAEM coming up near your, or an EMS meeting, it's a great place to meet people that are interested in the things that you want to do. So I would just echo that as well.
And don't forget, your local institution, often you're surprised at the resources you can have, right? I find that you guys have, or at least I did, I should say, I shouldn't pin it on you, but I had a very myopic view, like, of who was around me when I was a medical student, because I would sort of say, oh, well, you know, I know my clerkship director and my APD and this sort of thing, and I know the program director. But then you realize, oh, wow, we do have a world-class health services researcher down the street or here. They just don't, a lot of times, especially when they're world-class, they don't do a lot of shifts, so you never actually see them as med students. So if you have a passion like that, ask the local folks, and they can sometimes connect you. So, oh, I think are we tight on time? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned about how the program director might not be the best because you might not be as open to telling them what you're going through or whatever. Would you think that that's kind of like a conflict of interest, or can you build a good mentoring relationship with your program?
You absolutely can. Don't get me wrong. First of all, as a resident, I think they are there for you, right? The APDs, the PDs are there to support you and help you get through things. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as a medical student, sometimes they can be they seem like the best people because you think that you're going to then like ingratiate yourself and be able to just roll right in, right? But I'm just giving you a point-counterpoint idea, is that sometimes they are the absolute best person for you. That's perfect. Then pursue that person. But just keep in mind that they do have to do some discriminating when it comes to the application pile. And so if that is your primary person that you go to for everything, they can't help you as well as some other people. So you want to maybe take a step back and look for people who are outside that process too, because they can be helpful and truly give you the honest opinion sometimes.
The other thing I would say just in regards to that is be honest with yourself about what you really want to do. As I mentioned, I do sports medicine, and every time we have a new group of medical students come through the emergency department, one of them will come up to me and say, oh, I really want to do sports medicine, thinking that's going to help that person get closer. Then if I ask 3 or 4 questions, it becomes blatantly obvious that this person knows nothing about sports medicine and is just saying that as a way to try to get to know the APD. So be honest with yourself and be honest with what you really want before you start going through this process, because that will quickly turn against you.
Yeah, trust me, the number of people who want to do critical care is amazing. And that's fine. It's one thing to be but say you're interested in it, or maybe I want to pursue. Don't come up to me like, I want to be your mentee because I want to do critical care, and then have never done an ICU rotation, right? Or never having planned on it for your 4th year. Because I have so many people that I seem to mentor that are like, I want it. I'm egotistical, trust me, I am. And I love my ego massage, but at the end of the day, you can see through it after just a couple months on the job. Any other questions? Great. Well, thank you guys so much, and I look forward to seeing you at lunch.